So, after last war and those two pretty massive close calls, I wasn't feeling good about this war, right? Because, two close calls, that really does it to you. And I was like, man, I think the streak is over. I think that today's going to be the war where I just do not survive. But things went a lot better than expected, thankfully. And this war was not an easy one, right? This war had a Korg boss that was ascended, and I'm using Namor for this matchup. And Namor, while he's a great champion and my second favorite character in this game, I feel like he is very squishy. So I was very, very scared for that matchup because the block damage should be pretty dang crazy. But I had a plan to help mitigate that. But let's see if it worked out. But first we have this rank 5 Kingpin on this damage reflection node. And I learned the trick from the comment section of my last war video. And this saved me a ton of health and a ton of potions as well. So before dropping the SP3, I hit him. And that means that I'll reflect the SP3 damage onto him. So check out this massive burst of damage. Yeah, that's some pretty good stuff. And now this matchup is over. Not too bad in the slightest, and that was like, 59 seconds? Pretty dang sweet. But now I have another pretty big brain plan. So this Dragon Man here, he is Sugar Pill, so Photon will destroy him, but I don't want to get him down that fast because my next fight after this is a thing on Hazard Shift, Bleed, and Shock. So I don't want to do too much damage to him or else he'll just get protection all the time. So here's what I do. I do this fight very carefully, but also I make sure not to get any charges pause. I want to lose my charges as fast as possible. So I want to just drop down to like 10-ish charges. And that's the plan for this matchup. And I think it goes pretty well because if I get like those 10 charges, the next fight, which is a thing fight, I can just enter my pure life form early, and that means that I'll only have 2 Furies, which means no protection for the entire fight pretty much. That was my plan. I think it worked pretty well in the end, and yeah, there is that Dragon Man down. Not too shabby at all, but now it's time for the thing, and this is a rank 5 ascended thing. This is no easy fight. This was honestly one of the scarier fights I've ever taken in Alliance War, but here we go, man. Power Focus 2 honestly does help us because Thing, whenever you push him to like an SP1, he'll lose all of his rock stacks if you play it right. So that's the game plan here. Just utilize Power Focus 2. Don't get more than 2 Fury passives because I don't want to trigger protection, and just don't mess up because Thing is very punishing. But I think this fight goes pretty well overall, and yeah, he plays very aggressively, thankfully. Thing with a passive AI can go very, very badly, but this Thing was very friendly to me, so I do appreciate that. I love Thing, man. He's such an adorable character. But yeah, here I dropped the SP2. No crits there, thankfully, and Photon actually has some pretty terrible crit damage rating, which usually is an insult, but it's good here because she won't hit the protection cap that often, if not at all. So yeah, that's some pretty good stuff, and this fight is going very, very well so far. He is playing ball pretty much all the time, and yeah, the Hazard Shift lane, it's so easy with Photon because she just counters everything about it, and this Thing is just being perfect. Just absolutely perfect. So we're gonna detonate our Furies now again because I don't want to go too high with them. And yeah, this matchup is slow but very safe as well, and that's what's important, right? Having a very safe matchup. And well, honestly, I prefer the faster matchups because less time used equals less time for mistakes. So that's why I prefer fast matchups, and that's why I was so scared for my War Boss fight, but it is what it is. You gotta adapt, right? And yeah, one more combo and this matchup is now over. Actually, no, it's not, but now it is because yeah, Thing was just so aggressive. Not too bad, like 150 or 140. It is what it is. Now we have this fight, and I honestly don't know how I messed this one up, but yeah, I messed it up pretty badly, but thankfully Photon is just that good to where she ends the fight so fast, even after a multitude of mistakes. So where did I mess up? Well, here's where I messed up. I dexed. Because doing that dex just leads to so much trouble, right? And additionally, this guy has one eye open. So if you try to stun him to remove the dex, you take a lot of damage. So that's why this matchup can get very annoying very fast. Right there, he's unstoppable again. So yeah, this is just not looking too good. But here I just parry and I'm like, okay, I'll just take the damage. Then I drop the SP2 and this matchup is over. It was a bad start, but that ending was just insane. So much damage output. Photon is just such a crazy champion. But now we have one of the craziest fights ever, man. This is a Mysterio shared mini boss. This guy has a lot of health, right? For a mini boss, it's some pretty good health. And Photon just doesn't care. It's so crazy, man. Let's see how fast she takes this fight. So we go in. We get started here, we just get our debuffs building up, and now it's time to just go in completely. We have our 5 Fury passives, and this is going to go by very, very fast. I just hope you're ready for this. 19,000 medium attacks. Here we get a nice parry going, 21,000 mediums. We drop the SP2, and that is the end of the match. Just like that. That was about 19 seconds. When this girl is fully boosted and like has recoil masteries, it is some of the craziest damage output in the game. It's honestly just absurd. But now we have this Domino matchup, and this Domino matchup, very scary stuff, right? Because it's a Domino, and Domino does a lot of damage to you. And honestly, man, I got saved so many times thanks to her failing dex. So check this out, man. I go for the dex there, she fails it, so I don't get power drained. And that is huge. And then here we go back in, but then check this out. I dex again here, but it fails, so no power drain. I got lucky twice, man. Oh my gosh, if I got dexed and like power drained, I would have lost so much power and I would have been just done for in this matchup. But thankfully, Domino failed my dex, so where I get to keep the power. And yeah, she's gonna regret doing that because look at this damage output, man. The fight's just over from here. Yeah, 21,000 mediums or something like that. It's so crazy. Warlock with full boosters is just unreal. But now we have this very, very, very scary matchup. We have this Wolverine Weapon X on Hazard Shift, Poison, and Incinerate. Now, I was not confident in this matchup at all. Originally, I was going to use Lady Deathstrike, and that's probably even worse in my opinion. So yeah, this is going to be a dumpster fire. Now, Warlock is poison immune, but not incinerate immune, so gotta watch out for that, which I don't for some reason. Yeah, not the best start, and here things just get really sketchy. Here I drop a combo, some pretty nice damage, but then here he drops the SP1, and I'm like, okay, let me just drop the SP2, but nope, I get hit, and then now things are just looking very bad for me. So I go in, drop a combo, I now have 3 incinerates on me, so I'm just melting, and now I am very, very scared. But you know what, man? We're gonna try to come back here. We're not down just yet. We still have like 80% health. We're kind of chilling. So let's just see what happens here. He still is in Berserk Rage, which is not fun at all, but he is about to leave it. So now we can just go back in and start doing some damage, hopefully. And then there, I missed the Relic Intercept, so that's pretty goofy. Yeah, don't mind that. That was just a mess. But we're in the home stretch now. He's almost down, but now he's back into the Incinerate phase, so I got to be careful here. And yeah, I'm like, you know what, man? Let's just full send it. He drops the SP1. I dropped my SP2, and thankfully it's enough, and that was the sketchiest fight I've ever taken. Oh my gosh, Weapon X on that node is terrible. But now it's time for the boss fight. At this point, I am terrified because Namor, I love Namor, but against these high health pools and high attack ratings, I don't know how much I trust myself with him. But honestly, let's just see how it turns out. So, I have recoil masteries on because I want to regen from them, so I got to play very aggressive here to help mitigate the bleed damage, which works pretty well so far. We've taken some damage output, but it's fine because we'll regen most of it back, hopefully. So that was the plan there, right? Just use recoil masteries, get an extra damage bump, but also get some healing from the poison as well. And yeah, so far so good. I just got to play it safe though, don't want to risk anything, so I'm just going to play it passively here. Just let him throw the SP1, because the SP2, if you miss the dex, you are just done for. You take so much bleed damage that you won't survive. So yeah, I gotta be careful there. But this is going pretty well so far, man. We're almost at 29 charges to drop the SP3. There I missed the dex, but it's whatever. Here I dropped my own SP3, and now it's time to do the Imperious Rex rotation. So far so good, man. We haven't taken that much damage, and we are still alive and well, so that's all that matters, right? But here I drop the SP3, then I trigger Rex right here, and then I get to do the SP3 one more time, and now we are in the full cycle. So let's see how this turns out. Hopefully I can just get as much damage as possible. The SP3 hits for a pretty nice amount of damage. I think it does, I don't even know. I think it does a good amount though. Yeah, let's see here. Like 68,000, not bad at all. But here I get 0 crits, which is just so demoralizing, right? But then I get 30,000 mediums, and then a 94,000 hit on that SP1 right there. Pretty good stuff, man. Like, honestly, Namor hits so hard, even without the SP2 critting. It's still very, very nice. The Relic hit doing 17,000 as well, and I feel pretty good here, man. Just like one more Rex rotation, and he is down. So, yeah, I feel pretty confident at this point, and here he drops the SP1. Not too shabby. I go back in, and we're now ready for the final Imperious Rex. So let's just get it down, and let's get him down as well. So here I drop a combo, go in for the early Imperious Rex. There I drop the SP3, and now it's time to seal the deal with this final Namor SP3. And yeah, it's so beautiful, man. Like, I think it's still the best SP3 besides Atuma's, which is funny because they're both the water boys. But yeah, here I drop it, and now let's end the matchup with a clean crit of 60,000 damage. Not too shabby at all, man. And yeah, Namor, he solos this Ascended Korg boss, which is a very scary matchup for sure. So let me know your thoughts on this war video. Namor, it's always nice to use him, man. My second favorite champion in the game. Maybe one day I get to use Moleman for a boss, but I don't know about that. He's not really made for bosses, but honestly, it could happen for sure. And yeah, that's about it for me.